It won't die. It just won't. All right. Happy Sunday to everybody. Good to see you all today. I hope you're all doing well. Let's go ahead and get a roll call. Go ahead and type in the chat here if you're here, so I can get you on the roll and you're not, going to be marked absent. Otherwise, you got to make up time after school. You may not want to do that. So it's okay. All right. Nevertheless, though, today marks the beginning of round one of historical March Madness. So this is a tradition I've been doing for like 5 years now. Really, ever since I started the channel, become a fun tradition. I've noticed that other YouTubers are doing it as well. I think Mr. Beats is also going on right now. He's doing. I liked his idea. He didn't do people in his. His is historical events. I thought that was a cool idea. So yeah, but he's doing one. I assuming that Chris from Vlogging Through History is doing one. He's back from Egypt. He was just in Egypt, and it'll be good. All right. No, Mr. Beat, not Mr. Beast. Beat, the better one. All right, Mr. Beat also was on YouTube before Mr. Beast. So if anything, it's Mr. Beast that's too close. Okay. Anyway, yeah, here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you the candidates. Now, by the way, you can go ahead and start voting if you'd like. The voting link is in the description. If you are on YouTube, I have it pinned in the chat as well. And what historical March Madness is obviously a play on the college basketball tournament. All right. It's happening. It's going to be going on starting this week. And it is a big, fun event. To me, it's actually, I think, the coolest sporting event probably that there is. But why does it just got to be for sports? Why can't we put the best things into a bracket for voting and do that? So started historical March Madness. I actually should do it. I started doing it like a decade ago in my class. My classes for fun. And I thought that it'd be fun to bring over here. But we are now in to 2025. And if you're interested about previous winners, well, let me show you. I think there actually might have been one year where we didn't do it. I can't remember, but I'll go ahead. Let me show you who won. So we did in 2001. We just did like influential people in history, and that one was actually the best one. The winner of that one, because this one was memorable. It's kind of gone down in history. Is in 2021. And in the end, in the final, we had Alexander the Great versus Julius Caesar. And what was amazing is we had over about 1,100 votes in that final just on its own. And Alexander the Great won by 1 vote. It was crazy. Out of 1,100, almost 1,100 votes cast. And then we did, in 2022, we did presidents, I believe. It was presidents. And that one, the final was Teddy Roosevelt versus Ulysses S. Grant. And Teddy Roosevelt won that one. He was the favorite of the community. And then in 2023, it was, I believe, scientists. And the final was Isaac Newton versus Albert Einstein. And Isaac Newton won that one. And then last year was revolutionaries. And it's kind of interesting because there's some people are more revolutionary than others. But the final in that one was George Washington and John Brown. And Washington won that one. So this year is monarchs. So what we did is that was generals. Teddy Roosevelt. He led a group in the Spanish-American War, but whatever. Was it general? It was generals? Okay, it was. Anyway, so this year is monarchs. Now, a couple weeks ago, I put a post out on YouTube where we were just taking suggestions. So people were pouring in hundreds of suggestions. Our staff went through and picked the most common ones, and most famous ones from the suggestions, and we got it to 16. So we're going to do 16 this year. It's a little bit fewer, but it, I think, jumps ahead a little bit and keeps it to the big candidates. So let's go ahead, and if you have not seen it yet, this is going to be the reveal if you have not seen it yet. And we'll go ahead, and what I wanted to do was actually go through each of the candidates and like talk about them a little bit. So first, let's go ahead and just go through all of them. Again, the link is down in the description. Let's go ahead and switch screens here, and we will add the web page. Okay, here we go. So yeah, March Madness 2025. And round one voting is going right now. This is going to go for a couple days here. It is gonna go till, let's see, yeah, 2 days, 21 hours till Wednesday. So what that does, tell everybody you know, all your friends, your family, all of that stuff to come be a part of this. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And let me see if I put myself right here. Can you still see? Okay, that'll work. That'll work. Maybe it's better to go this way. We'll go this way. Anyway, so we'll do that. And then each round is about 3 to 4 days. Okay. And let's go ahead and look at the candidates. Now, by the way, these were not seeded. I did it randomly in kind of like a random generator. It was just too hard to like try to think of seeding for this. So we did some roll, like I did a couple like seeding kind of rolls. And as far as the matchups go, I thought this among them was probably among the better ones. It didn't look like there was like a crazy amount of like putting two clear-cut possible winners against each other. But yeah, let's go ahead and look. So, and again, the link is in the description right now. So the first one, and we just had 100 votes. Okay, awesome. Thank you, everybody. It's Charlemagne versus Akbar the Great. By the way, to make it more, I don't know if this is to makes it more fair. A lot of these people, on this list for monarchs has like a the great or the something. I'm like, let's get rid of that crap. Okay. Everybody is just equal. No one has earned the great against all of this. So yeah, because often it's called like Akbar the Great, So anyway, and by the way, hello chat. If you got questions, I will definitely read your super chats if you got anything you want to talk about. So this is just going to be, we're going to talk the history. We'll talk about the candidates. If you want to super chat anything to talk to me, I'm happy to do that as well. But yeah, I'm doing very well for everybody. So for everybody that's asking. So all right. So yeah, we had Charlemagne. All right, Charlemagne, King of the Franks, first Holy Roman Emperor. 800. He's going to get his head crowned by the Pope, because Charlemagne came down, was like, well, actually, the Pope was in trouble down there. It was a kind of a rebellion, because a lot of times the Pope had rebellions, and they and the Pope was like, hey, I need your help, man. And he's like, I got you, fam. And he goes down, puts down the rebellion, and the Pope's like, yo, thanks, bro. You could be a powerful ally. Let's create a position. Let's create Holy Roman Emperor, or let's just bring back the Emperor. Charlemagne's like, what? Wait, Western Rome, it fell like 400 years, over 300 years before this. And then also like, wait, isn't there like an emperor in Eastern Europe? Like what happened? What about that guy? He says he's the emperor, and it says he's the Roman emperor. And this is exactly, by the way, we have a transcript of this conversation between him and the Pope. And the Pope is like, nah, don't worry about it, man. I don't like those guys anyways. They don't observe my authority. I don't like them very much. Fast forward about 200 years, by the way, 250 years, and the churches will officially split. I love that story, the Pope and the Patriarch. So the Patriarchs, who kind of leads religion, even though it's technically the emperor in the Byzantine Empire, they're like, you're a fraud. And the guy's like, you're a fraud. And they excommunicate each other. It's like, nah. Anyway, so they're like, all right, fine. We'll go ahead and we'll just like, I'll take this crown away. Definitely pissing off the Eastern Europeans, though. The Eastern Roman Empire, I should say. But anyway, Charlemagne, from the not holy, not Roman, not an empire, Holy Roman Empire. Then Akbar the Great. Akbar the Great. So Akbar is of the Mughal Empire. If you don't know the Mughal Empire, they're probably like the richest empire you've probably never heard of. So in 1500s, out of Kabul, today's basically Afghanistan, a group that came into power called the Mughals, which is actually like a Persian term for Mongols, even though they're descendants of the Mongols, but they're not really like the Mongols. But then again, everyone's the descendants of the Mongols. So, there you go. Anyways, they're like, it'd be cool. Let's go cross the Hindu Kush and let's go to India. India is like super rich and they've got all kinds of cool resources. Oh, and we've been like messing with this new military technology. It's called gunpowder. So what do? They get on their war elephants. Yes, Mughal war elephants. We'll have to go into these guys. We'll have to talk about them some more. Are going to go and invade and take over. So Akbar is the third Mughal emperor, I believe, and often seen as the most successful. Now, the interesting thing about Akbar was him and his group, they are Muslim. And they are invading into, a diverse land, but was predominantly Hindu. And Akbar, to maintain peace after, him and his ancestors did all kinds of warring in India, granted tolerance and religious rights to Muslims, Hindus, and those alike. And he is kind of seen as towards the peak of the empire. So Mughal Empire, they're going to be around for about 300 years or so. They really kind of rocked things for a couple hundred years. Then the British East India Company came and kind of ruined things for them. So anyway, if you're on AP World History, you know about him and one of the leading figures of empires and leaders that had and promoted some kind of religious tolerance. So yeah, anyway, very cool. All right, I don't want to go into too many details like all right now because I actually want to go through these candidates with you and talk about them, and it'll be fun. All right, but anyways, Charlemagne and Akbar are up against each other. Then we got two more. Cyrus, also known as the Cyrus the Great of the Achaemenid, the Persian Empire. When you're thinking of the Persian Empire, you are most likely thinking of the Achaemenid Empire. Cyrus, also one that, although they're going to be like Zoroastrian, and that's kind of going to be their deal when it comes to religion, also gave some religious rights to people. Now, the Persians had interesting history with like slavery, both like practicing it and then like also not practicing it. Now, he also gets some pretty good press if you are a reader or knower of the Bible, because he famously ended the Jewish exile as they had been booted out by the Babylonians and let them come back. So anyways, Cyrus the Persia, probably the first superpower in the ancient world. Then we got Justinian, who represents the high point of said Eastern Roman Empire. There he is right there in the famous mosaic. Very, very cool. It's great. I should also added the one with Theodora, his partner in crime, and they both look pretty fabulous. And it's hard to tell them apart sometimes. Anyway, so yeah, you got them. There they are. You can see the cool pictures I added here. Cyrus the Great, somebody that even Alexander the Great, who is not on here by the way, because we also have a rule that if you have won a March Madness and you are applicable to be potentially a candidate, because of whatever framing we're using, because he would technically be a king, but since he's won, he could not be in this. So anyway, but he was a big fan of Cyrus, even though Cyrus had passed, years before that, and he conquered the Persian Empire. So I did like, by the way, this Charlemagne picture. Look at this. The dude, did you know he was also a giant? Does he have 6 toes here? I can't tell if these are like socks or toes. But yeah, did you guys know he was actually a giant and he could like pick up churches? Bet you didn't know that, huh? This is where you get the real history. Then Akbar got his burb, holding a burb. Insanely wealthy. got a lot of wealth also because amongst unlike say like China, when Europeans started showing up to Asia in the 16th century, they were like, yeah, come buy our stuff, I want your money. All right, and then we go down, and then we wanted to spread out, because like I don't know how many freaking English monarchs we got in in the suggestions, but maybe the most powerful, especially at the height of the British Empire, Queen Victoria. Also, the grandmother of like every monarch in Europe afterwards, all the ones that fight each other in World War One. Maybe she should get more blame. What do you guys think? Do you guys think she should get more blame for like having kids all over the place? They're gonna combat or be in war. All right, but she is going up against who might be the richest man in history, Mansa Musa of the Mali Empire. His wealth is of legend. Again, he might be the richest man in history. Hiding away in the sub-Saharan Africa from the other major civilizations of the world, made himself known when he, as a Muslim, a devout Muslim, performed the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca, in which he brought like hundreds of camels full of gold and tens of thousands of pilgrims with him, and marched all across North Africa, dropping insane amounts of wealth, and famously inserted so much money into the Egyptian economy that Cairo had rapid hyperinflation for years. But anyway, Mansa Musa also brought back a lot of scholars and people back to his capital, Timbuktu, and made really cool universities and scholarly parts. Wouldn't know it today because Mali is one of the most impoverished states right now. But that's why it's important we don't forget, right? All right. Somebody in chat, by the way, said this one was hard for them. It was Jules. Jules says, yeah, Katherine and Meiji. So we got Russia versus Japan. Now, interesting with Katherine, she's actually not Russian. She kind of becomes Russian. She was Prussian, which basically German. Her whole rise to power is kind of funny too, because she marries into the family, because that's what you do, right? The Russian family, and basically strong arms her husband, the czar technically, and gets him to back down out of power, and then she takes the reins. Now she was a monarch that believed in the westernization of Russia. Like one of her predecessors, Peter the Great. Peter the Great, who really got them on the fast track towards westernization. And she was like that too. She also expanded Russia further than it ever had been, west all the way to midway through today's Poland. She takes also Crimea, so Russia can get warm water port, something that Peter the Great always wanted. Maybe, what do you guys think? Where do you all put Katherine in most powerful women in history? I think she's right there at the top. All right, but she's going after the Emperor of Japan, Meiji. Meiji, the Meiji Restoration. Have you heard of this? So Japan was old school feudal, right? For centuries, you got samurai, daimyo, and remember they had locked themselves basically out of Western communication and influence, starting in the early 1600s. Fast forward to the mid 1800s, and knock knock, who is it? It's the Americans, and they have gunboats. Breaks open Japan. Meiji and some progressive leaders were like, hey, we got to modernize our country. Otherwise, we're just going to get completely taken advantage of, like, say, the Chinese did with the Opium Wars and spheres of influence, or how the Philippines was, brutally conquered by the Spanish. And you can see what's going on in India. So they better modernize. Meiji Restoration, they end the old feudal ways. And it's kind of the birth of the Japanese Empire. Emperor Meiji. Yeah, that is a tough one. What y'all doing for that one? There's more votes on the top one. Are people like voting once and then not voting? Or they just can't choose. All right. And then we got, let's go to this one. Ooh, a couple ancient rulers here. We got Augustus, first emperor of Rome against Ramses, who oversaw the height of the Egyptian empire. Augustus, best known for having a baby connected to him. He literally, it was like he was born with like conjoined twins, if you didn't know. And this baby is actually stuck to him. It's a real thing. You know what's creepy? You know how, if you guys didn't know, statues used to be painted. Like Romans painted statues. And when you look at like modern models of it, they look creepy. Like creepy eyes, and they would like paint the skin and all this. I think they look way better just in white marble. Let me see if I can find a let me see if I can find a like a color version. Augustus statue colored. Okay. So like for example, check this out. Like I think this is worse. It's just creepy. Maybe I don't mind that the like the clothes and stuff, but it just looks weird to me. What Spanish colony was Ponce de Leon? What Spanish colony? Florida? Yeah, I'm not a fan of this at all. Okay, here is. Oh no, this one. So like, look at this one over here. You can see the side by side. Like, no, I don't like this. I don't like that at all. No. Anyway, first emperor of Rome starts the Pax Romana, very successful ruler, set the stage for the Roman Empire. But up against the height of the Egyptian Empire, the new kingdom, Pharaoh Ramses conquers all the way up towards Mesopotamia. I was looking at pictures, stuff to put in here. I thought this one was cool because, like, I'd have to go into more of the specifics of this. I like how the Pharaoh is grabbed like three guys here. Is this the Ramses of for Exodus? The Exodus story never says what Pharaoh that was. It just says Pharaoh. So anyway, I like how he's like grabbing like three guys by the hair right here. Awesome. This is such a cool glyph. Ooh, great question. History today. Welcome. Mr. Terry, settled debate I had in my history class. What had a bigger impact on the Middle East, the Balfour Declaration or Sykes-Picot? Ooh, well, you can't have one without the other. My bachelor's thesis was on the Balfour Declaration, so I'm a little bit biased towards it. But I don't think you get Sykes-Picot without Balfour Declaration, so I say the Balfour Declaration. What do y'all think? Anyone disagree? Hey, V-Man, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh yeah, you were asking about the one. Oh, was it like a quiz question? Were you trying to do there? V-Man, thank you for the $5 super chat. It says no. The answer to what Spanish colony wants Juan Ponce de Leon was governor of Puerto Rico. Yeah. I mean, they have a city named after his descendant in Ponce. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, didn't he go around Florida as well? I guess he didn't rule like as a colony, but like I was just thinking of places that he went. Thank you so much, V-Man. By the way, if any of you feel free to promote any of the candidates you are pushing for in this, make them look good. Why should people vote for the certain ones? You know what I mean? Yeah, thanks for the super chat. I'll definitely respond to all your super chats, no doubt. All right. So, anyways, what do you guys think? Augustus or Ramses for that one? Go ahead and put in chat who you voted for. By the way, link is pinned in the chat if you're on YouTube. And by the way, I'm triple streaming right now. If you want to look up at multiple forums, you can bring up all of them. I'm trying to get more content over to even though it's a gaming page, I mean, my YouTube gaming page. I actually streamed there the other day, by the way. YouTube gaming, Mr. Terry Gaming. Should be a link down below. Mr. Terry Gaming. I was streaming Skyrim the other night. So I want to, maybe do some more of that. So make sure you're sub to Mr. Terry Gaming. I am streaming this over there. You will be able to find this stream over there as well. I'm also on Twitch, if you want to pull this up on Twitch as well. Best metrics to help me are obviously here on the main channel, History, Mr. Terry History. But if you also want to pull up on Twitch, I am multi-broadcasting here on StreamYard. So, all right. So that was that one. All right. Then we had a couple other folks. Look at these guys. Temujin himself, Genghis Khan. Probably responsible for the death of like 40 million people through the Mongol Wars. More than probably anybody singularly in history. 1 in 200 people are possibly related to him. So you go and use your imagination about why that might be. In fact, killed so many people, it may have changed the literal carbon monoxide emissions of the planet to a noticeable, testable degree. Absolutely crazy. Largest continuous empire in history. The greatest nomads of history. Religiously tolerant. Insanely brutal. It's a very complicated type of philosophy that these people lived by. Yeah, if you aren't descended from Genghis, you're probably descended from Charlemagne. That's so interesting because people have, talk about that with the Franks being so plentiful and spreading around so much. Yeah, pretty much there's a line maybe from like Germany to the east. It's like if you're from east of Germany, you are probably a descendant of Genghis Khan. If you're from west of that, then yeah, you're probably you might have some Frankish in you. So. The 1258 siege of Baghdad was probably the most brutal siege in pre-modern history, if you want to look at it like that, until like the World Wars. A couple 100,000 people were slaughtered in Baghdad, which ended the Abbasid Caliphate and really, almost caliphates in general, and never recovers from. They never recover. That whole region almost never recovers from that. Baghdad will be a shell of its former self. R.I.P. Baghdad House of Wisdom, by the way. Can we get some 07 salutes? Gone but never forgotten. Baghdad House of Wisdom. Never forgotten. But yep, there he is. You guys like this mode? Big mode? Or little mode? Little Terry mode? Big Terry mode? Little Terry mode. But he's up against, and you got to show some respect for this, Sargon of Akkad. Sargon of Akkad is probably the first emperor in world history. The Akkadian Empire, unified Mesopotamia, where the oldest civilizations in the world became unified under one ruler. Sargon of Akkad, the prototype for emperors. Epic beard. Professor Watt says he had no eyeballs. We'll just say he lost them in the war. Okay. So you got to put some respect on being the first emperor. There we go. No, not the other. Not the guy that stole his name, the Gamergate guy or whatever. Okay. Vasily, welcome. All right. And then we got, I mean, this is the one I debated on because he's not called the Great. Suleiman the Magnificent. Why was he magnificent? Look at his freaking hat. Look at this giant hat. You telling me this is not magnificent? Look at this. I tease my students. I go, what do you think you put in here? Like, what are you putting up there? My suggestion was snacks. You put snacks up in here. He does look like an onion hat. He does look like an onion hat. By the way, in case you were wondering where the influence came from, this might make sense. And you will never unsee it. Yeah. You know where the inspiration from Toad from Mario came from? There it is. Toad is a little Turk. He's a little miniature version of the Turkish Suleiman. See? He's got his little cute Turkish vest. And yeah. Amazing. All right, but who's Suleiman going against? Maybe the most powerful man in European history. Louis XIV. Probably better known as Louis the 14th. Look at the swag on this guy. Do you think the biggest change of Mongol sacking in 1258 beyond Islam shifted from Arabs to Turks? That is true. Yeah, the Turks really kind of pick up the pieces of the Arab unity and come in, and in this power vacuum, if you will, the Turks come in, convert to Islam, and really take over the Arab world. Yep, it's the beginning of that. That's a good point, Malik. Yeah, I mean, I mean, you got to have some serious game to pull this off. L'état c'est moi. I am the state. Correct. He was noted as saying this. I am the state. I am France. I will use the symbol of the sun as my symbol of authority because just as the sun lights and rules over the earth, I rule over my kingdom. Just as God rules over the world, I rule. What I want is done in an instant, just like God's will. He also pulled off, I don't know, what do you guys think? The high heels with like the cute red like ribbon strap? You like this? Y'all like this? Jeweled sword. Under Louis XIV's rule, France really became a model for other states. They became the center of European art and culture, fashion, debate. They were a military power under them. He also had long-term negative effects, though, like many leaders do. He built the Palace of Versailles, fanciest, biggest. We're talking the odd. There's a lot of different Turks. Do not conflate all Turks together. Turk is a very, very broad term. What we're referring to here is the Ottomans. The Ottomans. Anyway. All right, so those two are going up against each other. So you guys picking? Who'd you guys pick, Suleiman or Louis XIV? Yeah, he was also the longest ruling French king, I believe. It's 72 years old, or 72. Became a king when he was basically a child. Never once called a meeting of the Estates General, which is the closest thing to a legislative body that France had. It won't be until Louis XVI till they call that. We know how that went. French Revolution. So, who are you guys going for? Suleiman or Louis? You guys are going Louis? I see three chats for Louis. We got one for the Magnificent. Lee says Suleiman clears Louis XIV. I don't know why he gets so much praise when his reign was a disaster in the long run. Well, it's the reign. It's after, you know what I mean. He did plunge them into debt, but they were the height of European power at that time. But yeah. So it really comes down to this question: do you guys want? You guys more supportive of onion hats or pantyhose and heels? Suleiman, we should also say, had a much bigger empire than the French. If you are into empire stuff. Bigger empire, spread all the way up until Vienna. Had a bigger empire, the height of the Ottoman Empire under Suleiman the Great. So yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and go down here. All right. Speaking of France, what do you get? I guess we did get two French people, but whatever. We guess we could have dropped Louis, but or the other guy. And I know a lot of you wouldn't want to drop him, but we got Napoleon Bonaparte. Becomes a monarch by crowning himself, if you want to count that. But I mean, at some point, every emperor, king, became king from not being a king. They had to invent monarchy. You know what I mean? So we do have Napoleon Bonaparte here, who has been a contestant and a favored contestant in multiple March Madnesses without ever winning, though. So, but here he is. You got to stick your hand in your coat. Oh, I don't have the bottom of it. You got to stick your hand in there. It's very cool looking and comfortable. And have pockets back then. Okay. But we have Napoleon, who's up against the founder of China, the first emperor of China, Shi Huangdi of the Qin dynasty. Ends the Warring States period with military ruthlessness, crossbows, cavalry. The founder of China. He will set in course Chinese civilization, the oldest civilization currently on Earth. Fantastic eyebrow game. Okay. Unifies China. Builds the Great Wall. Standardizes weights and measures and language. Builds infrastructure. Set China on the path towards the modern China. Now, he was also very oppressive. He destroyed a lot of Chinese history. Definitely would espouse more legalist ideas, defeating a lot of Taoist principles. Nevertheless, one of the most important man in Chinese history, Qin Shi Huangdi. Also has built the terracotta warriors. His tomb is amazing. We know where it is, but it's not been excavated. Could have been as tall as the Great Pyramid, but since it was toppled with dirt and things, it is eroded a lot. We've never excavated it, but legend says that there is pretty much like booby traps, that there is a burial chamber with a miniature of the Chinese Empire filled with little scale buildings and mountains and rivers. Famously, the rivers were made with mercury. Something he was obsessed with was mercury. In fact, he and his dumb alchemist, like doctor guys, would give him mercury tablets, and they thought that it would extend his life and basically like make you live forever. Did the opposite. Ruined him. It fried his brain. And he died probably of mercury poisoning in his early 50s, I believe. His early 50s, I want to say. So, yep, there's a lesson there. I don't hate Napoleon. I just think he's overrated. I also think he's very influential, though. All right, those are the candidates. So if you were just getting here, the link is in the description as well as pinned in the chat. But the first round matchups, voting is now open for the next couple days, almost 3 days. I'm going to try to do a live stream if I can get to it, because I will be at home that day. And it's like 2 p.m. Eastern, I think, on Wednesday. And what we'll do is hopefully stream right when this counter ends. And then we will reveal, because you guys cannot see who's winning right now either. So we will show the results. So be ready for that on Wednesday. Come on when this timer is going to be gone. I'm going to hope I can stream at that time. But you'll be able to see the results and then be able to vote in round 2. So once again, the first round matchups are Charlemagne versus Akbar. Charlemagne versus Akbar. Then we got Cyrus the Great versus Justinian. We got Queen Victoria versus Mansa Musa. We have Katherine the Great of Russia versus Emperor Meiji of Japan. We have Augustus, aka Octavian, first emperor of Rome, and Ramses, the pharaoh of Egypt. Manor Dan says, Chin is totally the type of person to eat Tide Pods. Those tablets were basically like the ancient Chinese version, I guess, of Tide Pods. Except I don't know if anybody was eating Tide Pods thinking it would like make them immortal. So, whatever. All right, then we had Genghis Khan, probably the greatest conqueror in history, versus Sargon of Akkad, the first emperor in history. Suleiman, the great height of the Ottoman Empire, versus Louis XIV of France. And then Napoleon versus Qin Shi Huangdi. Oh, I'm actually glad you brought that up, Red Lion. Whatever happened to the Tristy Trivia Show? Yeah, we had to take a break because in both of the shows that we have scheduled, there were conflict issues, either between a contestant not being able to show up or me not being available. I guess I can tell you right now, we are going to be set up. It's going to be at the same time. Interesting. Hold on a sec. The next episode of History Showdown, the trivia game show, is going to be on. On Wednesday. Actually, at the same time. I think we are agreeing on the same time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern. So we're gonna have an early show. We're gonna have two. It's actually going to be at the same time. I just thought of that. So I don't know. We'll have to combine. I think we'll need to combine them. Maybe my guest could stay on. That might be kind of cool. So who we have coming on are we have History Dose. Okay, History Dose, fantastic channel. Chat History. He is more of a casual kind of history, casual history guy. He does the ones like the cool videos like why you wouldn't survive in ancient Greece. You know what I mean? And then Lavender's coming in, who does some spicy debatable history essays. So those guys are going to be on. We're doing it early because Lavater's over in Europe, and it'll be good to have an earlier stream. So anyway, yeah, I guess yeah, we'll get our contestants to discuss March Madness. So yeah, I'm hoping they'll chime in on that. So yeah, the show is going to basically start when this starts. So or when this ends and the next round begins. So yeah, and that's cool because they're all like world history guys. So they might have some fun input on this. That'll be good. That'll be a fun show actually, because we can combine this with the trivia show. By the way, Professor, well, we got to get working on that, huh? Am I going to stream the new Assassin's Creed game? Yeah, probably. That comes out. What is that this week? Isn't it pretty soon? Fortunately, I haven't looked forward to. This has probably been the Assassin's Creed I've looked forward to the least, even though I'm a devout fan of the series. Only because I was not excited about a Japan game. Only because Ghost of Tsushima, which just came out a few years ago, was a masterpiece, and I kind of wanted a different site, for it. But whatever. All right. Where would you set an Assassin's Creed Russia game, though? That would be the question. It's like, where would you put that? All right, guys, we can do some Q&A. Wanted to talk maybe a little bit more about some of these candidates and a little bit about the history of them, but we can talk about anything you guys want to talk about, whether it's this or other history topics. We want to talk about some of these characters here. Let's go ahead and go to not Napoleon, Charlemagne. All right. Basic, easy Charlemagne facts. Sword of Mr. would eventually want to do a Red Dead Redemption 2 playthrough on his game channel. I've streamed it a few times. It's just such an involved game that was hard to like do. You know what I mean? Look at. Oh wait. Look at this coin. This is of Charlemagne. They made him kind of thick. Got a big nose bridge. These are often some of the best things that we use for like how we think certain people in history looked, based off of some of their coinage. It's obviously hard to get a lot of the details, but like here, big old nose bridge. He's got big old ears. Check this out. This is Charlemagne's signature. Can you all read this? I remember he was Germanic. One of the things they did was they revived Latin in kind of like in Europe. They were trying to revive it. I don't think he ever learns it. I think he was pretty much illiterate with that. So here you go. Some like Germanic runic writing here. Probably inbred. You guys are talking about, that he looks ugly. Remember, every monarch in old history and even today is descendant of inbred people. Look at this, though. This would take forever. If you had to like sign a lot of stuff. Look at this. It does look cool, though. But that's Charlemagne's signature. And here's his autograph. I guess it's like the short version. Looks like Skyrim writing. Francia. In 714. So yeah, you had these different duchies, different groups. They did show down here the Umayyads. So one of the famous things, of course, is the Umayyad Caliphate, the Islamic Caliphate, had made their way all the way up to Tours up here in kind of like northern France, where the Franks defeated them, which also gave them, put them in very good kind of light of the church, as they were seen as like, you know, the defenders of Christianity in Europe here. But Umayyads, they really got kind of spread too thin when they went up into modern day France there. Now, this stuff will only temporarily be unified. You know, after Charlemagne, what ends up happening is the empire ends up breaking apart a little bit. So, like the western half, largely from the eastern half there. And of course, the interesting thing is, you know, very seldom did the Holy Roman Empire actually rule Rome, but it looks cool. A sketch thought to be Charlemagne. Caption: when you only work out your left arm. Yeah, we could do a caption contest with this. Yeah. Caption here too, because it looks like he's pointing at himself. It's like, you can do this. You can be the emperor. You are a good boy. You know, while like pointing at his face. You so can do this. Europe in 771. These are all the people. So we got the Frankish sort of empire over here. Just Slavs. A blob of Slavs from Poland into Russia. Nothing. The Slavs don't get, apparently in this one, any more like definition. Yeah, look at me. I am the emperor now. That's a good one. That was a good one. Charlemagne is mentioned in a bit of Starvharv's latest bad translation video on French history. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing French history, you got to talk about him for sure. Also, Charlemagne loved his war elephants he got from the Abbasid Caliphate. That's right. Look up his exchange with Harun al-Rashid. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they ended up making a deal, right? Basically, later on. Kind of interesting because, I mean, like the Frankish kingdom is nowhere near the Abbasids, but, you know, relations, right? Balts. Laps. I don't know who the Laps are. Like, who is living up here? Guess see, I don't know if you can see my mouse. Maybe you can see my mouse in this. Laps, like up north. Oh man, we can go super zoomed in mode, huh? Do you like being on permafrost? Is 0 degrees Fahrenheit too hot for you? Come up here and live with us, the Laps. You won't have to compete for land because nobody wants to live here. There's the Finns, all the Volga Bulgars. Khazar Khanate. See, now we're getting, even though this is pre-modern Mongols, the Danubes, guys up on the Danube. There's the Abbasids. Oh, then we got your Armenians, of course, your Iberians. It's always interesting because you think of Iberia as Spain, right? Absagonians. I don't know these guys. Allens. There's a couple guys named Allen that live right there. Duchy of Bavaria. Kingdom of the Lombards. The Papal States. Duchy of Spoleto. Duchy of Benevento. Byzantine empires in the ocean over here. Anyway. All right. Oh, no. All right. More Charlemagne stuff. Let's see what we got. So, yeah, this is a famous one. You might have seen this one before. It's the Pope has called, Charlemagne for help because there's like a revolt down there in the Papal States, and he's like, "All right, I'll come down. I'm a Christian now." By the Franks, among the earliest people to convert to Christianity, they're really important, or outside of the traditional Roman Empire of the Germanic tribes to convert, and being the biggest military and political entity of the early Middle Ages post fall of the Western Roman Empire, they're pretty important because Christianity spread through their conquests. I mean, Charlemagne was basically a Christian warlord. Yeah, he's tipping his hat. Hello. Very important in history. I kind of feel like Christianity largely thrives and continues in Western Europe because they almost kind of revive it in much of Europe. It's more Frankish territory. Y'all like maps? Well, here's some maps for you. So the empire at its height got all the way, so you can see this about going down here and it's like through modern day Germany. And then all the way to, except the Bretons are over there, but like almost to all of modern day France. So yeah, this happened at some point, but again, it's going to break up after him. So a lot of these areas are going to be conquered. Christianity going to be spread through that too. Oh, look at this one. Look, they're crowning him emperor. Look why is he so small? See, this is when art like it took too long to start getting perspective in art. Like, why couldn't that part of like the Renaissance, kind of the art revolution of the Renaissance, why couldn't that start earlier? Is there a reason we needed to have such flat, out of scale art? You know what I mean? He's just a little guy. They made him just a little guy. All the faces in medieval art all always look the same. It's just like sometimes they'll change a beard or something. More of his coins. You know what? He must have had big ears. You know what I mean? Because Charlemagne in that other coin, like he had big ears, and then he's got big old ears in this one too. Now I don't know about like art styles. Did they make your ears look bigger than they actually were? Like, did they think that was a not like a good thing? Here's the Pope crowning him. This one looks a little better. Yeah, this is gonna piss off the Eastern Roman Empire. Oh yeah, and Aachen. This is Charlemagne's throne. Lamest throne in lamest throne in monarchical history. The throne of the emperor. Look how lame it is. Now I'm sure it was better decorated and stuff like this. This is in Aachen, Germany, which was like their capital. Look at this. I could make this. And I suck at building stuff like this. Like IKEA chairs are better. It honestly looks like a toilet. Like you would poop in here, and then down here would be the poop where the poop would go. Then there'd be some peasant that empties the poop chamber. The cathedral's way cooler than the throne, but I mean, I don't know. I guess we had to start somewhere, right? All right, 15th century woodcut of Charlemagne and Irene. Pretty cool. Europe at the death of Charlemagne. Okay, so look how big the empire was with Charlemagne. Again, conquered all of this stuff. Christianity being forced upon everybody. Christian warlord. Very big. Over here into like Czechia, Austria. Most of what would have been Yugoslavia, a lot of it over here. But again, this is going to break apart once he dies. A portion of Charlemagne's death shroud. Oh, cool. Manufactured in Constantinople. Oh, they made it for him? Constantinople, they're going to hate Charlemagne. Guess they got to give him a gift, though, right? Death shroud. So this is something you would have laying over your dead body. Over your dead body right here. Very cool. Ooh, a cool relief. Persephone's sarcophagus of Charlemagne. Okay, so this is in the Aachen Cathedral. So the sarcophagus, so the body would be put on top here. Here's the side of it. Very, very cool. Look at the relief there. Y'all want a cool sarcophagus? Karlstein. Another one. Probably what put into this afterwards. You kind of get like your inner sarcophagus and then like the decorative outer one, you know? Very cool. All right, partition of the Carolingian Empire after. Okay, so after he dies, it gets broken up. So his kids all wanted a piece of it. So they like broke it up. If they'd stayed as like a unified empire, I mean, look at this. Look at what this could have been staying. And really got to go back to this one. Think of this, if this empire, right, in the dark green here, would have stayed together. From Rome to Denmark, from France to Romania, basically. If this had stayed a long-lasting unified empire, it'd be a beast. Absolute beast. But nope. Power hungry affects us all. Look at this one. What's this one say? Oh, Manfred III of Saluzzo depicted as Charlemagne. They were LARPing as Charlemagne, other people. Hey, Beach Boy. Welcome. Renegade Leader, hello. Palatine Chapel, built by Charlemagne at the Aachen Palace. Look at this. This is sick. It's kind of interesting because it's like you get, I don't know about you guys, but you can't help but get like Byzantine vibes from this. But we're in Germany. You know what I mean? But then you have like, okay, this style of archway, the colored patterns, was also big in the Umayyad Caliphate. So like the Muslims, they used to build, they really liked this pattern of archway decorations. This is like a really interesting mix of different things. So it's got like the very like it's like a mishmash of like Catholic, Islamic, and then like Greek architecture and style. By the way, architecturally, don't you all think we have taken a giant step backward as a human species? I wish there was a little bit more diversity, especially in the European, in the Middle Ages, when it came to art and architecture. A little more diversity, because like you've seen one cathedral, you've seen them all. You've seen one painting of crucified baby Jesus or whatever. You've kind of seen them all. We do not care about architecture anymore. It's metal. It's just like there's no style. Like, look at this. This is beautiful, man. There needs to be a revival of art and architecture. We need another renaissance, essentially. But this is very cool. I like that. All right, let's continue out the Charlemagne stuff. Charlemagne instructing his son Louis the Pious. All right, caption this, guys. So we got Charlemagne over here, and he's talking to his son, the prince here, Louis. What is he saying to Louis right now? What do you think? Caption this. By the way, this hand gesture, like this thing, where he's like, you see this all over the place. And again, you know how I was saying in medieval art, all the faces look the same? It's like, let me go back to Zoom. It's like copy and paste. Almost. Look at, okay, face here on the left, the red guy. This dude. I don't know if you can actually even see the mouse, but they're all the faces are just like they're cut and paste. All right, so what did you guys come up with? No, you can't have a cookie. Oh, but he's kind of pointing to the other one, like Uncle Jerry says I could have one. Only have one son. You don't have to split up the empire. Yeah, there's one. Caption. Hey boy, want to see this cool anime move I learned? Because the hand gesture. He's gonna like shoot a fireball. The guy in the red is Cardinal. I know, but everyone read it differently. Yeah, the Cardinal. All right. Statue of Charlemagne mounted on a horse holding a sword with a marble vase. Yeah. Very cool. Dude, he's holding the, oh my gosh. Has this been in Assassin's Creed yet, Malik? He is holding the Apple of Eden. Confirmed. Templar history. Apple of Eden confirmed. He's holding it. He's a Templar. Oh, look at this. This is sick. The bust of Charlemagne is a reliquary from around 1350, which is said to contain the top part of Charlemagne's skull inside of it. Reliquary from around 1350, which is said to contain the top part of Charlemagne's skull. It's also like the year 1350. And in this era of the Middle Ages, every church said, had some kind of relic that they hope people would come pay money to come see. Like, here's the fingernail of John the Baptist or something. Here's the toilet brush of the Mary Magdalene, All right, that's our Charlemagne rundown. Let's go ahead and go to his competitor, Akbar the Great. So if you know about Akbar and Mughal Empire, okay. So the Mughals invaded India in the 1500s, and it's one of the few foreign groups that has ever actually conquered India. They'll rule it for a good couple hundred years. Possibly the richest empire at that time because they just did so much trade. Also coincided with Europeans coming to Europe, and they basically welcomed them when the first Europeans sailed to the coast of India, Vasco da Gama. They were like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's trade. We'll give you some ports." Now, this actually ended up undermining a lot of authority of the Mughal Empire because the European influence just grew and grew and grew, and they loved the money of it. I mean, for sure. They're gonna, one of his ancestors, Shah Jahan, of course, is famous for building the Taj Mahal, which is a tomb for his wife, and that stuff's coming from like American silver, basically. Akbar was an admiral, right? It's a trap. I think that's directly who they did this from. All right. Akbar's signature. Okay. This is insane. I mean, it's more of a stamp than anything. Probably just his royal seal. But you can see the writing here. Arabic symbols. Akbar as a boy. So yeah, he was the grandson, I believe, of Babur. Babur, who was the kind of founder, first Mughal emperor. Actually, no, the Mughal emperors. I think this is an order. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the order? Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb. Those are the big Mughal emperors. There were some emperors after that that basically had no power because by then, like the British East India Company had basically taken things over. That does look like a maze. Can you get to the center? So anyway, we got this. He's going to blow the dandelions and make a wish. I wish for unity in my empire after I conquer it. Mughal Empire under Akbar. So yeah, they came in. The Mughals and most every Indian empire never is really able to rule the southern tip. These are the Tamil kings. It's also geographically a higher area. It's kind of cut off. This is, the Ganges River Valley, the Indus River Valley. I mean, this is where the best resources are in agriculture and all that. So again, they came from Kabul, which today is modern Afghanistan, crossed into the Hindu Kush, and they actually conquered another Islamic empire that predates them called the Delhi Sultanate. They conquered them. By this time, there's a big influx of Islam into India. Under the Mughal Empire, I think the Islamic population probably reached up to about 25% of India at that time. Was never a majority there. But at least under Akbar, there was they abolished the jizya tax, which is the tax on non-Muslims. They abolished that probably to keep, unity that way. Unlike places like the Ottoman Empire, where you are the dominant people, so you can actually charge the tax. So yeah, you had that here. Okay, Agra right here is where the Taj Mahal will be built later. Yeah, Mughal Empire also known for war elephants, which were pretty good because they also had cannons and other big stuff. Frankie is really, really demanding my attention right now. I'm sorry. And yeah, they had war elephants. They were freaking bad A. I'll see if I can get one of the cooler recreations they did of elephant armor and stuff. It's really cool. You'll love it. So yeah, they are one of the gunpowder empires, the Islamic gunpowder empires. They really came to dominate around the 1500s into the 1600s. That would be the Mughal Empire, okay, here in India, the Safavid Empire in modern day Iran, and then the Ottoman Empire towards the Middle East. These were empires that were early, big innovators in gunpowder technology and developing some of the first cannons and really, really using that and developing that technology, which gave all three of them military advantages of how they were able to spread their states into being the empires that they are. Russia, also an early one. Now, eventually, of course, that technology is going to be all over the place, and they won't have that like monopoly almost on. Not a monopoly, but definitely that leg up on everybody. And eventually everybody's going to start using it. More artwork. Akbar hawking with Mughal chieftains and noblemen, accompanied by his guardian, Bairam Khan. So yeah, they loved like falconry and stuff like that. That was something they did. You saw Akbar, multiple pictures of him with birds. I'd love to train birds. Very cool. All right. Young Abdul Rahim Khan-e-Khanan, son of Bairam Khan, being received by Akbar. So yeah, one of his advisors. So again, we're in the era here of the flat art, right? Even though you had like the Renaissance, it looks like they're still not using very good perspective. If you can look at this, there's some other cool stuff going on here. If you notice, look at this like cheetah or whatever, which would come from Africa, right? They're just like bringing him all kinds of gifts. Gifts. The Mughals also were superior horsemen and archers. The Mughal horse was incredibly good. It was able to withstand a lot of the scary sort of noises of war. They really kind of bred them for that and did a lot of selective breeding because with how noisy wars are, and again, you're talking about an era with gunpowder. You also have high capacity bows that are snapping right by their ears. They were very, very good at that. And they also had an incredible bow that they used, which actually descends from some of their Mongol ancestry, the composite bow, which was small and compact. And these guys could basically like hit a teacup anywhere on a football field, basically. Like they were incredibly good. Beyond religious reasons, why do you think a lot of people in India don't like the Mughal Empire? I know about Aurangzeb's policies. They're seen as foreign conquerors by Indian people. They're foreigners. So yeah, Indian nationalists hate these guys. Akbar definitely made things worse because he ended the religious tolerance and was very oppressive towards Hindus. So yeah, more battle scenes. Um, this is cool. God, look at this. So much action. It's like a Where's Waldo picture. You guys know about Waldo books? I used to love Waldo books. It's like, hey, find Waldo. Dude, that would be good. We need an artist to make like use these big paintings with all this stuff going on. We need someone to like draw in a Waldo. And then we can make Waldo books of historical scenes. That would be fun. Okay, here, if you can see this war elephant here. Yeah, they used to armor their elephants. They were awesome. I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna, if I forget, remind me. But I want to show you. They've done recreations of to scale war elephants, and they're really cool. Bullocks dragging siege guns uphill during Akbar's attack at Ranthambore Fort in 1568. Okay, yeah. So remember, like I said before, they were innovators of cannon technology, and yeah, elephants were, being so strong, could pull these. You can see them in the wheels right there, and these were devastating because like in India, they had walled cities. I mean, walled cities were always like the big impenetrable thing in history that you couldn't do anything about. Like you could siege cities very effectively that had big walls. It was just like, hey, you got walls, you fortify them, and then you survive inside. That's why siege warfare, especially before like cannons, and I guess afterwards too, usually included just camp out outside of the city and wait for them to starve out, see if they actually have enough supplies. But now you can blast down the walls. Walls cannot protect you anymore. The court of young Akbar at age 13, showing his first imperial act, an arrest of an unruly courtier who was once a favorite of Akbar's father. Ooh, that's interesting. So he had some kind of like official with him, and or that was loyal or to his father. He was unruly. He probably, was like, Akbar's 13. This guy was afraid of his dad and was like, I don't care about you. You're just a punk kid. You know what I mean? And you wonder if Akbar here at 13 years old was probably told by some advisors, like, hey, you can't show weakness. You're the emperor, right? And you can't have people respect you. So you got to punish the non-loyalists. By the way, if you notice at the bottom here, you're going to see like a musket, early musketry here in the 16th century. Oh, some cool. Okay, plate and helmet of personal armor of Akbar. So, all right, so we got the armor. This was his armor. Again, going to be useful on horseback as cover up your chest, some of your head, and some of your arms here. Very cool. Plus, it's pointy, which means you can ram somebody with your head first, Ooh, we got coins. Yeah, more falconry stuff. So yeah, he has a falcon here, and then it's saying also on this other side is a commemoration of the capture of the Asagar Fort in 1601. Yeah, not a headbutt, a head stab. Ancient coins are cool. For private audiences of Akbar. So in this part in northern India, you're going to see a lot of red, kind of, it almost looks like red clay kind of brick. You're going to see a lot of these red structures. They actually have a fort called like the Red Fort, I think it's called. They're really cool, but because just of the geography there, you see a lot of this reddish architecture. If you could set an Assassin's Creed game set in India, when would you do it? I would say after the death of Aurangzeb and the wars that followed. That's a good idea. You could definitely do one in the Mughal period, kind of end of the Mughals kind of thing. More coins. It's got the inscriptions of the Islamic Declaration of Faith. There's no God except Allah. So yeah, the words for the first pillar of Islam on their coins. Again, remember, this is an Indian state. You're having these Islamic influence coins. There's another one there. Silver rupee, struck in the name of Mughal Emperor Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar. His full name there. Minted in Ahmadabad. Very cool. Oh, they're all just chilling. That's all. It's probably his wives, right? A portrait of Empress Miriam Uz Zamani, commonly known as Joda Bey, giving birth to Prince Salim, the future Emperor Jahangir. So yeah, Akbar's son was Jahangir. Then you had Shah Jahan, then Aurangzeb. So they had usually lots of wives. Okay, a lot of these Mughal empresses will give a lot of children. Shah Jahan's wife, who died, she's the one who the Taj Mahal was built for. She died in childbirth, giving birth to like their 13th child, I want to say. It was like at least 13. It was like 13 or 14. Had that many children. And it devastated Shah Jahan. That's why he had the Taj Mahal built for her. Ooh, Europeans, it looks like showing up here. Yep. Portuguese are showing up in the 1500s. Death of Bahadur Shah of Gujarat at Diu in front of the Portuguese in the 1537. So yeah, you can see the Portuguese are starting to show up. Again, the Portuguese were allowed to come in and trade. The Mughal Empire made a fortune, which made them amongst the richest empires in history because of that. And they're going to try to hijack it. Eventually, the French and English start showing up and kind of dislocate the Portuguese. This was kind of the height of the Portuguese Empire in the 1500s. This is when they were really dominating the seas at this time. They get replaced in a lot of areas, especially like the Spice Islands in Southeast Asia by the Dutch. Kind of hijack it from them. Portuguese ambush against the galleys of Sidi al Rais. You know, the Indian Ocean trade before this was dominated by Arab Muslim sailors, and they would warn like everybody, like every king around the Indian Ocean trade network. You know, early on, they were like, "Don't deal with the Portuguese. You cannot trust them." There's documents we've looked at in my classes. Actually, it was a DBQ on one of the on one of the final AP World History tests a few years ago. And yeah, they would be talking to like kings of like India, Indonesia, and all that stuff. Or like, don't deal with the Portuguese. They give you bad deals. They will be violent against you. The stuff that they sell sucks. They try to cheat you. And it was right. They come to exploit a lot of these regions here. Oh, this is beautiful. The Akbari Mosque overlooking the Ganges. Very cool. The Mughal architecture is very cool because it's a mix of the Indian art and then some of the art techniques that you found across the Islamic world. Wow. Speaking of having a lot of children, the record for a woman having children was a Russian who had 69 kids from the same guy, 16 pairs of twins. 7 sets of triplets and 4 sets of quadruplets. What is going on with that woman's reproductive system? How could you just put out that many kids? And especially that many like twins and all that. Portrait of Mughal Emperor Akbar, invocation of a dua prayer. More war. Oh, wait, no, this is not a battle scene. Mughal Emperor Akbar welcomes his son Prince Salim, who's Jahangir, right? His name. Akbar holds a religious assembly of different faiths. Yeah, so one of the things that he was known for, so he was a Muslim, but again, he gave religious tolerance to the people in India. And his court was commonly filled with people of different faiths. He used to hold these like interfaith debate discussions. So here you might, have a Muslim, a Hindu, maybe a Sikhs. I mean, that's kind of starting to kind of develop. What else would you have here? Probably Christians. I know Jews were part of it too. Maybe some Confucianists, Buddhists, all that. And yeah, they would do these kind of, like open debates. Square rupees, square money. Money's usually round, but we should have some more square money, right? Oh, look at this one. This one's cool. The Great Mogul. You also hear this, the Mogul. Basically, that's another form of them saying Mughal. Discoursing with a humble fakir. I don't know what a fakir is. Is that like a Hindu something? The Wendy's of currency, because they have squares. It's more art. Akbar enters Surat triumphantly. A lot of triumphant art. And we'll wrap this up here. Akbar hunting with cheetahs. Now, cheetahs are not indigenous to India, though, right? So did they import these? And these, there's the Mughals are so good at horseback, so good at archery, and so good at like hunting. They're like, animals are too slow for us. We need somebody go find the fastest animal in the world and go get a whole bunch of them so we can go and hunt them. That's how I assume that conversation went down. All right. Okay, so yeah, another audience, coming here. I've noticed in a couple of these pictures, they'll do like the outer wall at the bottom of them. And then there'll be like some kind of commotion or something in like the outer gate. Like in one of them I saw, it looked like a peasant was like trying to get in. It looks like right here, like some dude's trying to get in here. And this guy in the yellow at the bottom is like, no, you can't come see him. Do you have an appointment? You know what I mean? Out chilling with this girl, smoking some hookah. So that'd be like his favorite wife. So you have like your like legal kind of favorite wife. Then you had all your side chicks. Because they all had like mistresses, And then the last one I'll show you here. The Gate of Akbar's Mausoleum in Agra. Oh, it's in Agra as well. Okay, cool. Very cool. But yeah, this is the front of this is very like the minarets, okay, this kind of thing, that kind of the Islamic influence, but a lot of this some of the style, like these kind of archways, you see like in India. So the Mughals had cool combinations of artwork that were really, really impressive. Okay. All right, I got to take a break for a second, guys. I need to let Frankie out. Maybe I'll grab another drink real quick. Don't go anywhere. Next up, we're going to go and talk about Cyrus the Great. We'll go ahead and talk Cyrus. I don't know if I can get through as much talking as I'm doing on all of these candidates today. But we can save some discussion for some other time. Maybe you guys are enjoying this. I'm kind of having fun, just kind of teaching you guys through some of the pictures. Thank you, Professor What. And let's coordinate for History Showdown. All right, let's play let's find or play a quick fun video for our break. Guys, mind if I show you my most recent original? Well, we might as well be down with it because I'm going to show you. You guys know I occasionally put out some short, kind of fun original content. And my most recent one is on Rasputin, the death of Rasputin. So we'll I'm going to go ahead and play that for you while we take a quick break. And let me know what you think after. By the way, if you'd like to support this video, it's not doing very well on views because my original content does not very good in views, because my community and everything is built on the reactions. So I love it when we do the original stuff, which kind of gets hidden, but if you want to check that out, here's the link to it. And we'll go ahead and take a break with this video real quick. And I will be back momentarily. All right, here we go. December 16th, 1916, an over-the-top murder plot unfolded in one of Russia's most extravagant palaces. The crime was the cherry on the top of an ongoing smear campaign against the victim, a man who had somehow wormed his way into the highest echelons of Russian power. It rattled the aristocracy just as World War I was steamrolling through Europe, and Russia was teetering on the edge of revolution. Seems like great timing. More than a century later, the scandal surrounding Gregory Rasputin, long labeled as the Mad Monk, continues to overshadow the bizarre reality of his relationship with Russia's last Tsar and Tsarina, Nicholas and Alexandra. How a scruffy, bath-rejecting, self-proclaimed holy man gained such influence over the Romanovs baffled and infuriated the aristocracy, who viewed him as a bearded menace wrapped in mysticism. Born in 1869 in Pokrovskoye, a tiny Siberian village far from the glitz and glamour of St. Petersburg, Rasputin had humble beginnings. There's not much solid information about his early years, probably because nobody at the time thought, hey, let's keep detailed records on this random guy who smells like turnips and butt. At 19, he married Praskovia Dubrovina, who would later shake her head at his shenanigans while raising their 4 children. Then in 1892, Rasputin went the deadbeat dad route and left his family and hit the road in search of spiritual enlightenment. He dabbled in monastic life, but ultimately preferred wandering Russia as a self-proclaimed holy man, a career path with remarkably few entry requirements. By 1905, Rasputin had slithered into St. Petersburg's high society as a mystical healer right when the elite were going through their teenage occult goth phase. He gathered an enthusiastic fan club, mostly women, who saw him as a divine figure. Meanwhile, skeptics saw him as a bearded menace. He had earned a reputation for living life with one foot in the monastery and the other firmly planted in the local tavern. Despite public suspicion, Rasputin found himself in the inner circle of the Russian royal family. This was thanks to their son Alexei's hemophilia, a potentially deadly blood disease. His mother, the Tsarina Alexandra, believed Rasputin had the power to alleviate her son's suffering. Whether through hypnosis or prayers or sheer luck, he seemed to have a calming effect on Alexei's symptoms, which earned the Tsarina's unwavering loyalty. But Rasputin was not content to stick to faith healing. He began handing out political advice like some weird Russian candy, which did not sit well with the aristocracy. Many Romanovs saw him as a fraud, a charlatan, and possibly the worst dinner guest imaginable. Even Alexandra's own sister, the Grand Duchess Elizabeth, tried to warn her about him, but Alexandra was not having it. Instead, she doubled down on her trust in the holy man, while the rest of the royal family collectively groaned. By 1950, with World War I in full swing, Tsar Nicholas left for the front, leaving Alexandra and Rasputin to run the show back home. This, of course, went exactly as well as one would expect. Alexandra relied on Rasputin more than ever, and the scandals surrounding their relationship escalated. Wild rumors, including some that would make Reddit blush, swirled about their bond. Rasputin's name became synonymous with why everything is going wrong in Russia. At this point, Rasputin had more enemies than a villain in a spy movie, and assassinated plots started piling up. He had already survived a near-fatal stabbing in 1914, but that wasn't enough for his enemies. Enter Prince Felix Yusupov, a fabulously wealthy aristocrat who decided that if Rasputin couldn't go quietly, he'd have to be helped along. On the night of December 16th, 1916, Yusupov lured Rasputin to his Moika palace with the classic bait, "Chicks will be there." To set the mood, Yusupov decked out the basement with exotic decor, an open fire, and a table full of cakes and wine. Oh, and the cakes and wine were laced with cyanide poison. Rasputin, ever the eager guest, started snacking, but nothing. No dramatic gasping, no foaming at the mouth, just Rasputin enjoying his midnight snack. Growing anxious, Yusupov fed him more of the poisoned hostess treats. Rasputin just kept going, happily munching away like a bearded Russian cookie monster. After hours waiting for the poison to work, Yusupov panicked and opted for everyone's plan B. Shoot him! He fired a shot to the chest and Rasputin collapsed. Thinking the job was done, Yusupov went upstairs, only to return and find Rasputin was stirring about. Their eyes met. Rasputin sprang up, presumably with the energy of a man who just realized he's been invited to the worst dinner party of his life. What followed was a horror movie sequence. Rasputin tried to escape. Yusupov's accomplices chased him into the courtyard, and more shots were fired. After a few missed attempts, they finally landed a bullet in his forehead, which seemed to do the trick. To be extra sure, spread some celebratory vodka toasts. The conspirators, meanwhile, were put under house arrest, though their punishments were really just more like an extended vacation than real consequences. Despite all their efforts, Rasputin's death didn't save the Russian monarchy. It collapsed a few months later. The Romanovs were overthrown, and Nicholas, Alexandra, and their children were executed by commies in 1918. Rasputin's grave was later dug up, and his remains were burned, possibly to prevent anyone from claiming he was still alive, which, given his track record, was reasonable. Over a century later, Rasputin remains one of history's most infamous figures. Was he a miracle worker or a charlatan or just some incredibly lucky man with a questionable bathing schedule? Regardless, his story has endured, mostly because, let's face it, it's just too bizarre to forget. Here's my other one. Who did the Mayas sacrifice? Yeah. If you saw, I jumped ahead a little bit. That video was demonetized by YouTube. So thanks for the support you give. If you notice, it showed for probably two half seconds. In that video, there's 5 seconds. It's about 5 seconds of Rasputin after he died, with his body wrapped up after they reclaimed it from the river, and that apparently demonetized the video. So yeah. Hopefully he doesn't get a copyright strike for showing that video again in the live stream. No, wouldn't get a copyright strike, but I fast forward just in case they demonetize this. So maybe they will, because like 1 full second of Rasputin's body, which is wrapped, which I put into my appeal to YouTube, because I remember looking, like, literally says that there's dead bodies, if like they're wrapped, apparently that's okay. That they denied it anyway, so that video got demonetized. So, which also probably made it harder to find. It's not doing great in views. Chris from Blogging Through History and I talk about this, how we like doing the original stuff too, but our original stuff doesn't do as well than our reaction stuff, mostly because so much of our content is that, and that's why people came to us. But we like doing it still. The one working on right now, original one, is French Revolution. So it's going to be kind of this style, kind of like lighthearted, kind of funny, hopefully mildly funny, but educational. And I'm looking forward to when that gets finished up. It's just an editor is helping me with that one, so putting in graphics and animations and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. All right, let's go ahead and go back. We'll do let's do 2 more people we'll talk about, and then we'll probably call it there for the day. So next up, if Jimmy Fallon made a skit with Ariana Grande about the death of Rasputin, they showed Rasputin's dead body, it would be on the front page of YouTube. Yeah, probably. It's the little guys like us. I can't show 4 or 5 seconds of a wrapped dead body from a poorly pixelated historical photograph. So, yeah, that's where we're at. So, all right, we're going to go with Cyrus the Pog. The founder of the Persian Achaemenid Empire, most famous, oldest of the Persian empires that we know, that we talk about today, and the most powerful one. So let's go ahead and do a little visual history here. So here we got a winged relief. You're going to see in Persian, a lot of Persian artwork and stuff, a lot of winged characters. Some of that does go back to sort of the some of the deities and things from Zoroastrianism, which is the religion of the Persians, started by a guy named Zoroaster or Zarathustra. It is a extremely influential religion that you can see its influence into monotheistic religions, such as you see it in Judaism, as well as Christianity as well. There are some ideas of like a duality of good versus evil, and like an afterlife, and like a judgment day. A lot of very influential beliefs that came from there. Largely becomes very abolished almost from when the Islamic world makes its way into Iran. And Zoroastrianism is still practiced today, but very, very small. And most of them were eventually convert to Islam. Anyway, but yeah, you will see that Ahura Mazda, and you know the was like the main deity of Zoroastrianism. But one thing you see common, and this is not just like a Persian thing, but where you integrate religious elements. Oh, we have super chat. Religious elements to justify the rule of people, that you are ruling because you are a defender of God, or like chosen by God. It's a very common element in history. Jen, sorry, I think you did one earlier. Oh, you did. Thank you so much. You re-upped your membership, 38 months. Thank you so much. Yeah, we want some Frankie snacks. Is that what we want? Thank you. The stream probably get demonetized. Yeah, it probably will. For other stuff as well, but €5. Thank you. The stream probably got demonetized for the highly insensitively wrapped body of Rasputin. Take this. Also, Frankie snacks. All right. He just heard his name and the S word, so he is come over here. We'll go ahead and give him something here, okay? You guys want to see? You don't know Frankie, nor my floor, which is really dirty. And my floss pick here. Is that a Jimmy John's bag under there? I didn't even see that. How did that get on the ground? Thus spoke Zarathustra. Here. Frankie, roll over. Good boy. Frankie, bang. Let's do it again. Ready? Bang, bang. You actually already did it before that. When he sees the gun, he plays dead. All right, come here. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Yeah, he's got a collar. Kisses. 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 What belly rubs? Ah. That feel good? Everyone loves belly rubs. All right. Thanks, Dan. Dan is one of our longest community members. 49 months. I'm wondering if you are the longest. Thank you so much, Dan. Yeah, thanks for the membership. If you guys didn't know, all channel members get early access to all my videos and all past live streams like this, which go into members only mode afterwards. And there's literally hundreds of hours of other content. If you would like to support history YouTubers who are consistently demonetized and I don't know, videos are shadow banned. See you, Jen. All right, let's get back to the lessons here. All right. Anyway. Oh, was I not showing this before? But yeah, the winged parts of this. So yeah, you see this quite a bit in Persian culture. Oh, we got a bot. Yeah, anyway, you see this. This looks like cuneiform. They didn't use cuneiform, though. This looks like cuneiform. Is there details on this? The four-winged guardian figure that may depict Cyrus, known as bas relief, on a doorway pillar from the Pasagade. The inscription says, "I am Cyrus the king, an Achaemenian." Scholars doubting that it depicts Cyrus note the inscription was later inscribed in a later period, and that the same inscription is found in other places in the complex. Is this not cuneiform? Black adder. I've heard of that, I think. Isn't this cuneiform? That was not used here. And pretty much was stopped being used after the Bronze Age collapse. All right, anyway, the standard of Cyrus the Great, founder of the empire. Very cool. So yeah, you see the imagery with like the winged characters. Got the sun here. They in their religious beliefs kind of feel that there's like this day versus night battle that goes on, and they fight back and forth, which is why you got like day versus night. Okay, wait. Oh, it's Akkadian. So it was using cuneiform script. So that was written in the Akkadian language, the cuneiform script. I am Cyrus the king, an Achaemenian, in Old Persian, Elamite, and Akkadian languages. So there was a lot of that influence. So why this writing looks like this, by the way, was when this kind of script first came around, like with the Sumerians, who were developed the oldest writing system in the world. They did a lot of their writing in clay. So what they would do is like paper. They didn't really use so much. It was in that area, wood. Is very kind of like rare, and there wasn't a lot of materials to make like something like a paper. You know what I mean? So they use clay because in Mesopotamia you got the Tigris, Euphrates rivers, and there's a clay waterbed. So clay is also great too because it preserves writing way better than something like a papyrus, because you can heat up the clay and then that will form it. So the writing system that they use here was used with wedges. So you get like a knife kind of thing, you know what I mean? And you get something and then you stick it in, right? So like in the wet clay, you make an imprint, and the different symbols and stuff can be used to create a language. So very cool. So this is in 3 scripts. So that's good. So why you would do this is if when you're an empire, which kind of by definition is a diversity of subject peoples, it's it's to your advantage to publish things in the different types of languages of your empire. So this would like probably be an example of that with 3 different languages. That, for example, is so important to us as like historians, because if one of these languages go dead and other ones survive, you can use the surviving ones to translate the dead languages. A good example of that was the Rosetta Stone. So when the Greeks conquered the Egyptians, they would publish stuff in Greek as well as in Egyptian. And there's a couple different forms of Egyptian, but with hieroglyphics being gone extinct, the Rosetta Stone had something like this, which was the same thing printed in 3 different languages, and they used the Greek, which was still known, to translate the Egyptian. So this kind of stuff is really important to see languages and things side by side for translating purposes. Very cool. All right, this is, let's see, a king sending someone to kill a young Cyrus. Is the little boy, that's Cyrus, they want to kill him, or one of these little boys? They don't want him to be king. That's rude. Who do we got here? Cyrus hunting a wild boar. Made in the Palace of Versailles. Yeah, you could tell this was European painted because they're making Cyrus a white guy. I don't hate Napoleon. It's mostly a running gag, by the way. The whole where I say Napoleon is overrated. It's more of a running gag between like me and Chris from vlogging through history and just Napoleon people. That's just kind of turned into like a running joke. Yeah, it does European. Like the Europeans just like made everyone white. All the heroic people. All right. Victory of Cyrus over Lydia's. So Lydia was one of the Lydians were another kingdom. Battle of Thimbra. Got to contribute to the joke. Yeah. It's fun jokes like that. This is Greek. You can tell this is a Greek, older Greek style. So I think if I'm right, if I remember right, from my college studies with ancient Greek and ancient Greek art, they would do. You could tell some of the pottery ages by what colors they were using. So there's like a red figure. I think the dark glaze with the reddish. This probably would have been a lot more red when it was made for the front figures, and you can tell its age by some of that. So, however, it's not Cyrus that is going to invade. It's going to be later ones like Darius and Xerxes. So the Persian Empire is one of the earliest sort of like super powers. It was the biggest empire that had existed up to that time period in history. So it's at this time you see this red area is an area where the Persians are going to invade. So what they did here in the Persian Empire was they had all these different regions, right? So you had the Bactrians, the Parthians, Gondarians, Medians, etc. So they conquered all these groups. That's what an empire is, right? Diversity of subject peoples. And so they conquered that. And you're going to see they're going to conquer the Fertile Crescent. That's what this shape is, the fertile region of this area, because you have the Tigris and Euphrates right up through here, and then the coast, and then the Jordan River a little bit over here. Now, notice with Jerusalem here, when they conquer this territory, the Babylonian Empire, had ruled this, and they had kicked out the Jews because known as the Babylonian captivity. And one thing that happened was when Cyrus took this region over, he allowed the Jews to return to Jerusalem. And that's another period of Jewish history there. But you can see going up to Asia Minor, which is modern day Turkey, and his descendants are then going to hop over the Bosphorus and attempt to take Greece, which of course they fail in the Persian Wars. Later on, the Persians will also invade Egypt, something Egyptians did not like. They hated being ruled by them. They saw them as foreign oppressors, which is also a reason why when the Greeks came here, the Greeks try to present themselves as liberators and got support from the Egyptians when he came and invaded here. Likely to, well, first he respected ancient Egyptian culture, Alexander the Great being educated by Aristotle, but also the fact that Egypt is a resource-rich, breadbasket, right, with the Nile River. So came in, Egyptians made him a pharaoh, And then he conquered the rest of this. So eventually we get Babylon, all this Persian Empire gets to India. So all this will be taken over eventually. All right, yeah, Zoroastrian symbol right here for, I believe, of Ahura Mazda, right? A deity there. So this is Achaemenid soldiers fighting the Scythians. Notice the recurved bow. This is something you're going to see in Central Asia. It gives it a more compact shape while also being incredibly explosive. The recurve shape there. Ahura Mazda, yeah, like the car company. Yep. Except it's Mazda is a Japanese company, so I don't know how they got that, but Ahura Mazda. All right, you can tell this is another European one because look how white they made him. Oh, it's the queen. Receding the head of Cyrus. Yeah, he was killed, and she is looking faint. Her husband's head got cut off. They're also using like more modern weaponry. Like they did not use this. This is a what's this called? A halberdier, which is like part axe, part spear. There's Cyrus's tomb. I do know this. Alexander paid this a visit. Tomb of Cyrus. Again, modern or like European style. Like they did not wear robes and crowns like this. So it's a Europeanization, Westernization of all this. I like this guy's wizard hat, by the way. Cyrus the Great is said in the Bible to have liberated the Jews from Babylonian captivity to resettle and rebuild Jerusalem, earning him an honored place in Judaism. Yeah, he gets good press in Jewish and Christian scripture for that because he let them come back home after they've been kicked out. Also, would not have worn this, so you can tell this is much later, like the turbans and stuff. Cyrus the Great at the center with his general Harpagus behind him as he receives a submission of the Astyages. So yeah, it's a 18th century tapestry. Interesting to see those like modern interpretations what they put in art. Why is this in this photo collection? The Cyrus Street in Jerusalem. Oh, okay. So there's a street in Jerusalem named after Cyrus. Again, showing you that he's still getting mad respect from the Jewish community. And this is the Volkswagen Persian. Look at this one. More, yeah. The painting of Daniel and Cyrus before the idol Bel. Yeah. Look how big they made him. Some more symbology. Oh, that statue of Cyrus. I think I showed you this at the very beginning of the presentation. The dawn of human rights. This is in Sydney. Yeah. So one of the things that he is kind of known for. He's kind of neat. These guys are obviously like brutal conquerors and stuff like that. But you add the nuance, especially for their time, of having like they had like some kind of thing about like rights, like civil rights, human rights, like a base for that in their empire of again allowing with some of the religious diversity and things like that. So Cyrus kind of seen as one of those ancient figures that you can see as an ancient version, obviously, of civil, human, religious rights. 17th century bust of Cyrus the Great in Germany. So you can see he's getting mad respect in Germany with a, a what like to them in Germany, like they're like they're where are you from? You're from like Persia, wherever that is. We'll just make you look Ottoman. This is a corn on the cob. No, just kidding. The Cyrus cylinder, a contemporary cuneiform script proclaiming Cyrus as legitimate king in Babylon. That's cool. Looks like an eaten corn on the cob, but if you look at it really closely, man, you would have needed a tiny little tool to put in the engravings here to do the cuneiform script. Got some money. Yep, some money. Oh, this is cool. Look at it. It's like a lion eating a horse, or it's got a horn kind of looking thing. I don't know what do you think this lion is eating? What animal is that? Does it say in the description? Oh, this is the world's first gold coin. That's cool. First minted gold coin. Ibex? That makes sense. That would make sense. Cool. First gold coin. I did not know gold minted coin. What's the symbol? KU. Okay. Ooh, U. All right, we just gonna have a bunch of symbols now. Okay, good. All right, so that concludes Cyrus. If you like Cyrus, you can vote for him in historical March Madness, which the voting is underway right now, and will go on through midday Wednesday. The link to vote is in the description and also pinned in the YouTube chat. All right, last person we'll cover here today is Justinian, who saw the height of the Eastern Roman Empire. He tried to regain a lot of the territory of the Western Rome that had fallen about 100 years before him. And let's go ahead and go through the imagery. So this is probably the most famous artwork depicting Justinian. This is, we call this style mosaic. It's where you use little tile pieces, you color them beautifully, and you put it together, which is very cool. One cool thing about mosaics is if part of it breaks or something, you can just replace it very easily. Just try to find a color match, and there you go. Better than restoring like an old painting. This can be a lot easier to do it. You can put it on walls, ceilings. You can put it on floors. Famously, we'll see if it comes up here. Next to him on his left, our right, will be his gal, Theodora. All right, what we're looking at here is Tauresium, an ancient town and the birthplace of Justinian, located today in what is Macedonia. So these are obviously the foundations, but yeah, very cool. So in this town, he was born. Very cool. Malik says this is second most overrated historical figure. He gets way too much love. He is very influential, though. Justinian's law code is going to be a model law code for law systems all across Europe. After that, he really transforms Constantinople into the city that it's going to be as well. Incredible architectural projects. He beautified the Hagia Sophia and really kind of made it look a lot more like what it looks like now, rather than the original Constantine version. All right, so here's another one. You get some Theodora in here. Very cool. I really like mosaic art. So the ancient Romans did this, and it carried on through the Byzantine years. Here's angry Justinian. So this is in Venice. It says perhaps representing Justinian. Don't know. Does it look like a Justinian to you? All right, more cool carved reliefs. Thinking this could be Justinian or Anastasius the First. I love relief sculptures. So cool. Just imagine making this stuff. Like, these artists were so incredible. Just so incredible. All right, and because when you're a Roman, you got to copy everybody. So this is a reconstruction of the column of Justinian. Romans love to do this too. Every Roman emperor would build, a monument and would usually carve reliefs of their accomplishments. So this one, if it rings a bell, should remind you of the one Trajan had it's still there, in the Roman Forum. And what you do is you carve reliefs of like your battles, and they would do that. So he did this, Justinian did that. Napoleon's going to do this kind of stuff because he was basically just LARPing for all these guys. He loved these guys. All right, we got some more coins. A golden medallion celebrating the reconquest of Africa. So they went down to Africa. as you know, in northern Africa, conquered by the Western Romans. And what Justinian was really big on was trying to reconquer as much of the original Roman Empire as possible. At a time, he got all the way to Italian Peninsula, lose control of that, but he did get all the way west to there, but obviously never gets to the original height of the Roman Empire. Okay, so yeah, this is what we're talking about. So the when the empire split, which happened, which was pretty close to happening about right where this dark red and the lighter red meets here. You had the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire. So they kind of split that up. Diocletian was somebody that split up the administration of that. Then not long after that, you get the official sort of split of the empire. But you can see in the lighter pink, and again, this is like the early to mid 500s. Now, Western Rome, that emperor was unseated in 476. So it's pushing about 100 years since this was all Roman controlled. And you can see the light pink. He tried to recapture a lot of this, because all of this right here that you can pretty much see, everything around the Mediterranean was by the Romans, conquered by the Romans, including Spain and what's today France. Now you can see he never does get these parts, like Spain or France, doesn't get that, but does, at least for a while, get the Italian peninsula and part of North Africa. But they will lose this control over the centuries. And famously, when Constantinople falls in 1453, I mean, Constantinople was pretty much the only part of the Roman Empire that existed anymore. The Ottoman Empire had completely taken it over by the 1400s, surrounded all the area on both sides of the Bosphorus Strait. All right, map of the Byzantine Sasanian frontier. So the Sassanid Empire was the Persian Empire at the time of the Roman Empire. They were, the enemies of the Romans for a long time. It's one reason why Constantine moved the capital over to what's going to be Constantinople. It was called Byzantium then, but go over here to be closer to their enemy. Now, interestingly, the Byzantines and the Sasanians are going to fight each other for centuries and really cause a lot of damage to each other, fighting over Mesopotamia and stuff. And their weakened status definitely made it a lot easier that once you get the Rashidun Caliphate, so once you get the first Islamic Caliphate in the 7th century, they were able to defeat both of them. And because they were so weakened, they were so weakened from years of fighting each other, the Muslims were able to come in and take all this territory eventually. All right, I've got some more coinage. Spanish Visigothic coin in the name of Emperor Justinian. So yeah, very cool. So good Visigoths, that's like Germanic. They ruled and conquered a lot of Spain during the latter years of the Roman Empire and afterwards. Okay, a little bit more. So this is showing, again, this is the height of the Byzantine Empire, of what they controlled. And again, this was largely responsible to warfare by Justinian, as he was trying to recapture so much of this. But they will lose it. Okay, a lot of this, again, all this territory down south of basically like Mesopotamia and south, the early Islamic caliphates will take this over. You're going to get the Rashidun, you're going to get the Umayyad, who are going to come all the way over in the 700s and take over Spain there. Very cool. So here's that famous mosaic. Absolutely beautiful. So mosaic showing Justinian with the Bishop of Ravenna in Italy, bodyguards and courtiers. You can see they like copy and paste the faces so much back in these days. All right, so Byzantine architecture is very cool. This is the Little Hagia Sophia. And yeah, they had a very consistent structure that they like to do. They like the domes, but they were a lot more complicated or decorative than something as simple as, like, say, the Pantheon in Rome, which is, the front of the Pantheon, of course, you got the very Greek style fronting with the relief and the columns, but like the dome itself. But the Byzantines, what they start doing is adding a lot of these other parts to the dome. So it's not just a big dome, but on the outside of the dome, they'll have, like windows and these other little like mini roofs. And they stick to this for a long time. And it becomes just kind of standard. You will see it. The Hagia Sophia, of course, being a big version of that. So here, another beautiful mosaic. 10th century Hagia Sophia mosaic depicting the Virgin Mary holding child Christ on her lap. On her right stands Justinian, offering a model of the Hagia Sophia. And on her left, Constantine I presents the model of Constantinople. Okay, so very cool. So you've got, yeah, Mary there. Now it's interesting because Constantinople and the Hagia Sophia did not exist at the time of Jesus, but maybe it kind of almost looks like they're presenting it like like a like a gift. Like Constantinople, the Hagia Sophia, and the city is like a gift to Christ. So here's the OG kind of style of the Hagia Sophia. I mean, it's kind of simplified there. Its modern version was adapted, and when it was turned into a mosque by the Ottomans, you're going to see the minarets that you see today. But anyway, very cool. Then Constantinople, famous. Lee had probably the best walled fortifications of any city on the planet. That's why I was able to withstand attacks for basically 1,000 years. Being located there in the Bosphorus Strait put it in the crossroads of a lot of different empires, a lot of different trading routes, had a lot of economic value. So it was constantly attacked. And it wasn't until the invention of cannons and the Ottomans bringing cannons to the to Constantinople that the city finally fell. All right, look at this one. A book illustration of an angel shows a model of the Hagia Sophia to Justinian in a vision. The cathedral had burnt down during a riot. Now Justinian would build an even more beautiful one. Yeah. So the OG one that Constantine built, he is going to remodel it and make it even better and bigger and fancier. He was all about, like, one thing he I think was inspired by was Roman emperors loved fancy stuff. They really, really loved fancy things, and beautification of stuff and the grandeur of it to really kind of show the prestige of the emperor. And that's something he really wanted to kind of like bring back. So that's why he would do these architectural projects and spend so much money on the arts and the architecture. And he wanted to build that. Malik, who is a Justinian Byzantine hater. Justinian is really overrated. Like, his reign is like a Byzantine mosaic. Looks impressive from a distance, but up close, just a bunch of tiny broken pieces of broken wish. Well, I mean, this empire is going to last 1,000 years. So you can kind of consider that. Shows Justinian's full name. Very cool. And here's the modern Hagia Sophia. So take out the minarets here, and you have the version of the Hagia Sophia that Justinian was influential in. So it's going to be one of the biggest domes in the world, and by space was the largest church in Christianity, also for about 1,000 years, until St. Peter's was remodeled in 14 and 1500s. But you can see, so the Roman domes, right? That's an influence from there. And again, you have all these like little like half domes, kind of semi domes, and those reliefs there. Now, when this will be conquered in 1453, the city, it was converted to a mosque, and that's where you build up these minarets, which are common features in mosques, as they're symbolic, but also have a useful function for the call to prayer. So if you can see that there's speakers, if you look really closely, you can see speakers. Back in the day before speakers were invented, you might have a guy go up here, go up a staircase or something, and then from here, announce that it's time for one of the daily prayers, right? Hey, we got History Underground in here. What's up, JD? Yeah, Hagia Sophia is on my bucket list. It's probably in my top 3 favorite buildings of all time, and it is absolutely beautiful. And I don't have time to go into all of it today because we're mostly talking about Justinian right here, but the inside is so interesting because it shows all of the different phases of the Hagia Sophia. It's like you got the Christian era, and you have that, like the paintings, and then in the Islamic era, they painted over a lot of that and got rid of that. And then when it becomes like secularized, which happens under Ataturk, they were able to see that you could like peel back some of the Islamic stuff that was over the original Christian stuff, and you could see like both at the same time. And one thing that's kind of cool too is Constantinople was sieged a few times. There was a time that Vikings actually sailed down there through the Black Sea, and they came and they sacked Constantinople. And there's actually some graffiti written by some of these like Viking guys. It's like Thor was here. It's so cool. It's so cool to see. Also, Assassin's Creed fans, you might remember how fun this is to climb around. All right, some more coinage, gold coin. This is cool because this one came from India, which is evidence of long distance trade. It's really cool to see that kind of stuff where you'll see coins, from a different part of the planet. But it shows Roman trade. Probably went through the Indian Ocean trade. Could have gone through the Silk Road as well. Without Justinian, you don't have the Justinian Code, which arguably single-handedly makes the Byzantine Empire last for so long. Yeah, the height of the Roman Empire was very much founded upon their law principles. They were very much about their law, very influential, right? And again, Justinian, trying to revive the Roman Empire, he codified a lot of new laws. He reorganized the law system, and that was a major lasting influence because a lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of medieval rulers used Justinian's law code as a basis for a lot of medieval law. That's the most lasting, like, intellectual influence of Justinian, other than the architecture and this stuff. But yeah, was from that time point. All right, some more mosaics. Very cool. So this is in the Great Palace of Constantinople. It's cool how with mosaics you can still get so detailed, and you can understand like things like shading. So it's like this guy, he's got that different type of contour where, like, look at his shoulder, they made it whiter so it looks more three-dimensional looking. Very, very cool. I also feel like I don't know, this horse is kind of giving a funny face. It's like, oh yeah, speak to me in my right ear. But it looks like he's about to get a treat, so that's cute. More Justinian one. There's a lot better mosaics with him, but very cool. He's older here. You can see he's getting pudged up a little bit. He's getting a little weight in the neck, like all of us unfortunately do. Ravenna in Italy becomes a very important city for the empire there, kind of like a new, almost like Byzantine capital. There we go. So Justinian was one of the first Roman emperors to be depicted holding the cross surmounted orb on the obverse of the coin. Apple of Eden. Apple of Eden. All right. This is a much later painting, obviously. So this is from 1886, Emperor Justinian in council, prior to its restoration in 2020. Definitely love the shading and the artwork here. I mean, it's from the 1886, so a lot later, but beautiful artwork here. Theodora is also an incredible figure, as she was so powerful, and especially because she did come from monarchy. She came up through. She was a high class courtesan, and made her way right into the inner circle of him, and makes maybe the greatest power couple in history, and one of the most influential women probably in history as well. All right, one more little modern depiction here. 1891, presentation of the Pandex to Emperor Justinian, designed for a mural in the court building in Kassel by Hermann Nachfuss. Very cool. So what we're probably looking at here, Justinian's law code, right? Big influence. Oh, can I zoom in more? Okay. More, please. No, I don't want to download it. It won't even let me. Okay. Anyway, you can see this like book here. So this is going to be the compilation of the Roman laws. So again, he oversaw the codification and simplification or whatever of laws, and it's kind of being, here's like the final draft. You know what I mean? And it's being presented by two probably slaves or something, presented right here to him, probably for his approval. This is cool. I haven't actually seen this painting before. This would not be what, like, I know the modern, when they do modern like interpretations of historical things, they always use like a modern look. Like, look at this very like European stupid haircut and all this stuff. But with these tapestries and the colors and all this of the palace, this would have been something that Justinian would have been all about. Right? He wanted everything color, loved purple, because like purple was, the color of royalty, because the color for the dye was quite rare as it came from a sea snail. And yeah, he would have loved the beautification. It's the prestige. He was very much about prestige. Very into that. All right, you guys. So we went over. Man, I spent like 2 hours going over 4 people in historical March Madness. So these first 4 candidates are or 4 of 16 candidates for you to vote for, and you got a little more information about them. If you have not voted, the link is either pinned in the chat or it is in the description. And what we have here, again, these matchups, is just pick the monarch that you want to advance in the tournament. So we had Charlemagne versus Akbar the Great, and then we had Cyrus the Great versus Justinian. And we didn't get to him today, but we'll try to maybe cover him more in some future streams. The next person we would be covering in the next matchup would be Victoria versus Mansa Musa. So, height of the British Empire versus the height of the Mali Empire. So we got Queen Vic, Mansa Musa, richest man ever lived, perhaps. Hard to quantify his wealth, but essentially had a monopoly on gold. And much of the world was getting gold from him in Western Africa. All right, then we have Catherine the Great versus Japanese Emperor Meiji. So we'll try to get to talking more about these characters. All these characters have incredible, interesting stories here. Dan, thank you for the super chat. Dan says, when's the toga stream dropping? Do you want me to wear a toga? We need to bring back togas. I talked to my students about that. It's like, don't you wish that when you woke up, you could just roll into your bed sheets and just call that close for the day? Thanks again for the super chat. Appreciate your longtime support, Dan. All right, Emperor Meiji, who brings in the modernization of Japan. I like to call it the birth of the Japanese Empire as well. First Roman Emperor Augustus, Mr. I got a baby attached to my leg, is up against Ramses, who saw the height of the Egyptian Empire. There he is. Captured 3 guys with one hand. So you guys voting there. Then we had Genghis Khan, maybe the greatest conqueror in history, probably, versus the first emperor in history, Sargon of Akkad of the Akkadian Empire. You can see why he died. He had a head punched in. Then we got Mr. I've got a giant onion on my head, Suleiman the Magnificent, who oversaw the height of the Ottoman Empire. Katherine the Great will finally end those horse rumors. Yep, those rumors, because she was not liked by a lot of people. She was seen as a foreign oppressor by a lot of Russians. She was not Russian. She did go with significant efforts to do things like learn about Russia, like she learned Russian, like the language, learn the culture. But anyway, was quite oppressive to the lower classes, though. But saw the expansion and the height of the Russian Empire. All right, then Louis the 14th, Mr. I am fabulous, height of the French Empire. So they're going against each other. Who you voting there, you guys? Who you voting? Suleiman Louis versus Louis the 14th. And our last one here is Napoleon. I crown myself Emperor Bonaparte. Napoleon, I am average height for my time. Bonaparte versus the founder of China and the Chinese Empire, Qin Shi Huangdi. Mr. I'm going to die by trying to become immortal, Shi Huangdi. All right, this will go on till about midday Wednesday. My plan and my hope is that wherein this clock is going to run down, we'll live stream so we can see the results. Right now, I don't have the results public because I want it to be a fun reveal surprise. So come with me. I haven't created the stream for it yet. Maybe I'll do that here soon. I'll try to bookmark so you guys can bookmark it. But I think this will be. Yeah, Wednesday. I think this is 2 p.m. Eastern time. I think this will come out here. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll see who wins these matchups. I don't even know who's going to win. I have not done any voting myself. I'll break a tie. We'll say that. So I don't even though these are clicked, I haven't actually clicked a vote button. I'll maybe break any ties if there are any. So by the way, let's see who's voting the most. It looks like some people voted only like they voted in the first one. And then not as many people did Cyrus Justinian. Maybe just because, I don't know, people couldn't decide. Like, which one has the fewest votes? Okay, that one is 105 right now. Yeah, for some reason, the fewest votes are for, I went up to 106, was the Katherine and Meiji. Might just be people don't know these people very much. But yeah, go through all of these people. These are all super influential, important people in history. Often these are the rulers, the height of all these empires that they ruled. Simon Bolivar is not a king, though. This year is monarchs. Was Bolivar in it last year? Bolivar, we did revolutionaries last year. This year was monarchs. So sorry, Nick. I know you're a big fan. After this year, I think I want to start doing events. Mr. Beat was doing that this year. He was doing historical events. So I think that would be really cool. We could do like important battles, something like that. I think that would be really cool. So we'll see. It's literally endless, the possibilities. All right, guys. If you guys have any last minute questions, comments, or anything, I appreciate you hanging out with me on this Sunday afternoon. Let's have fun with this. So yeah, each round is about 3 to 4 days, and we'll keep going till we get a winner. Okay. Just as far as news coming up, speaking of History Underground, JD, who is here, who has advanced to the championship. He is the first of the 3 contestants we're going to have in the championship of my trivia game show, History Showdown. He's the first one. We got 2 more semifinals to go through this week. Actually, it's going to be kind of fun. I didn't do this on purpose, but it just worked out with schedules. Literally, when this timer ends is also going to be the next round of History Showdown. This Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, we are going to have the next round. So we got coming out of the world history bracket, we've got History Dose, Chat History, and Lavender, who have qualified for the second round. And then probably be the week after that will be the wild card bracket. So what we did is brought 3 the highest scoring runners up into the to get a second chance. And that one's going to be really good because all three are incredible history folks. We got Chris from Blogging Through History. He's coming back. Who JD, the History Underground, just narrowly beat. And then we have Cynical Historian. Cypher's coming back. He was the runner up in the one. Mr. Beat won that one. And then another incredibly knowledgeable history YouTuber, Emperor Tiger Star, who was, I think, on the last question, if I remember, History Dose had beat him. So anyway, we're bringing those three incredible historian YouTubers back. They will be in the wild card episode, and the winner of that will go to the championship. So anyway, a lot of fun stuff coming up on the Mr. Terry History Show. Also hoping to get my next original video out, which is going to be a short, funny one on the French Revolution. Just waiting for the editor to finish up the graphics for that. I don't know when that's exactly going to be, but that should be coming out here pretty soon. I did have a video that came out today. I did reaction video to another Mitzi Studio video on tank history. It was a lot of fun, so that is up right now, so definitely check that out. I'm not sure what tomorrow's reaction video will be. I need to film it after we're done here, so we'll see how it goes. Okay. All right. With that being said, I appreciate everybody being there. What if you're able to manage to get alternate history club? Yeah, I invited a ton of people. There's a lot of people, and actually, it was really impressed. I was really surprised and impressed with how many YouTubers I contacted that accepted it. And a lot of them were people I'd never talked to. You know, I have usually a relationship with most of the common channels that I cover. But yeah, a lot of them came back. So we'll definitely, there's some people that were unable to do it this season, if you will if you want to call it that want to come back. Blue Jay couldn't do it, but he definitely said he would be or definitely said he would consider doing a season 2. Who was the other one that history was Psy? Was it Psy that wanted I think couldn't do it? Cody from Alternate History Hub. Unfortunately, he kind of went on at least at the time when I was putting out invites, kind of went on a communication lockdown. I think he was kind of getting, it seemed like, because he did some tweets, he was kind of getting burned out from, I think, social media drama. So he kind of wasn't answering some of those things. But I've contacted him before, but he, I think, kind of went on a lockdown there. And then if you guys know the NFL and you do NFL content, you might know Tom Grossi. Tom Grossi is an incredibly talented and funny NFL content creator. He does funny NFL skits, and he's the one, if you've seen it, where it's like, you know, like the NFL script writer meetings, and he's incredibly funny and talented. Anyways, if you don't, and I've been on his channel a couple times. We've interacted, but he was just too busy during the NFL season, but he wants to come on. And why, you might be like, why would an NFL content creator be doing this? He only until about 3 years ago, was a full-time history teacher. He taught AP European history and all types of history classes. So he was a teacher for years, and he's actually an incredible teacher. I've seen his lessons. A couple weeks ago, he did, if you guys saw, he did a $1 million charity stream where he stayed online for over a week, 7 days straight, literally would sleep on camera, and was streaming until till they reached 1 million, which is amazing. They did it just over a week. It was crazy. Anyway, one of the incentives was for donators was to do an actual history lesson. And I was captivated by it. So one of his favorite things to teach, which was cool because it gets brushed over super quickly, is basically the lost generation topic. So after World War I, it was called like this, the lost generation. It was there were these artists and writers that started doing art and literature based off of the kind of depressing psychological state of post-World War I. And he did this incredible lesson. I was like captivated by it, about it. And it was so cool. It was so cool. Anyway, he said he would like to join if I can do this in the off season. That's kind of the plan, is to do season 2 in the summer. So anyway, those are some of the YouTubers that we're hoping to come back. I'm going to keep working. I want to get Griffin on from Armchair Historian. He didn't do it. He wasn't going to do it, or didn't do it. But I'll also invite, of course, a bunch of people that want to come back from this season. So I want to get as many new people as I can. But I'm going to definitely bring back some of the favorites. So anyway, that is the deal. All right. Anyway, with that, you all, we will go ahead and call it here. Hope you have a good rest of your Sunday. And yeah, take care. I will play the promo. Well, actually, I shouldn't. I don't need to do the History Showdown trailer. We actually got to do what we do when we exit every stream. It's a tradition for years. We got to build the flag. So with that, we'll see you all very soon. Bye.
We need to build the flag, protect our borders now. No entry from land or ocean. They keep taking our jobs, that's why we'll build the flag. Make America not be number 2. Ooh. Big country, land of free, Statue of Liberty. She's scowling at anyone who arrives illegally. Please build the flag. We've got to build the flag. It will protect our borders, save our jobs. We'll build it up. We're gonna make America big and strong. We'll build the flag, and then the government will be profitable. We've got to build the flag. Donald Trump always says we've got to build the flag. He's working hard for our nation. The stars and stripes pave the way, and Mexico will pay to assemble the flag. Yeah. Oh, during the sporting games, athletes should build the flag. Kids build the flag at school. Could be a law or rule. Stand up for what is right. Let's build the flag tonight. Say far more unity and start us who need us country. Let's build the flag. We've got to build the flag. It will protect our borders, save our jobs. We'll build it up. We're gonna make America big and strong. We'll build the flag, and then the government will be profitable. We've got to build the flag. We've got to build the flag. It will be good for Trump's create more cars. We'll build it up. We're gonna defeat ISIS using flag. We'll build the flag. Our parts of flag should be American made. We've got to build. We've got to build the flag.
Hey, it's Hot Dad here. Thanks a lot for watching. If you like what I'm making, blast that subscribe button, smash the share, slam those social media links, mangle some merch, or consider supporting me on Patreon. I love you. Have a great day.
Have a great night.
Have a great life.